There's no future in leadership for anybody who wants to hold on to that. And if you came in today, I'm not beating you up because of the victim lens, because believe me, I was there myself. The key is not to stay there. The key is to recognize that you can move on from that victim lens. And here it is. This is the breakthrough moment. If I was to draw a graph, this is the breakthrough, and moving up to the next level, the follower lens. And this is a massive breakthrough, and you're like, well, okay, Orrin, what gets this curve? That curve, that movement upwards, is the breakthrough. That is where you finally replace your limiting belief with a more empowering belief system. Instead of, well, how can I help it? It's all their fault. Maybe even just ask the question. Sometimes to attack my limiting beliefs, I just ask a better question. I say, well, can I really blame my whole life on so-and-so or on that situation? Has it really, because no matter what it was, a tragic event, something terrible happens in your life, somebody's mean to you, whatever happens, can I really say my whole life's over just because of that event? Can I really say that? Could I really defend that? I don't think I could defend that. Man, that's not really true. And then I ask myself another question. Well, if it's not really true, why am I holding on to it so badly? Because by holding on to a limiting belief, what you're doing is that you're ensuring that you're stuck in a mentality, in a lens that's not going to help your future. If you know that the victim lens is not producing the results you want in life, I see Larry in the front row, he had one of my favorite statements. He said, if you're not happy with the results you're producing in life, perhaps it's time to stop taking your own advice. I'm like, wow, that's a powerful statement. Let me say it differently. If you're not happy with the results your beliefs are producing, perhaps it's time to adopt some more empowering beliefs. And we can do that. And the beautiful thing is I've spent the last 22 years of my life helping people do just that, 21 years of my life. Helping people build better belief systems. Absolutely. Now, truth in advertising here, that's tough. Let me tell you what's tough about it. The actual change in belief is not the tough part. But I'm going to write the word, courage. It takes courage to dare to look. Do you know how many people spend their whole life protecting their belief system because somehow they've attached in their mind that their belief system is them? Here's the great news. Your limiting beliefs is not you. It's just an immunity system that you've adopted to protect your brain from pain. And if you dare, if you actually can step back, this is the most amazing thing that God gave human beings to do that you'll never see a dog do. When you're sitting there looking at a dog and he's laying there, he's not thinking, to be or not to be. That is the question. He's not thinking about, boy, what makes me me? Why am I different than the other dogs out there? They don't have this other, they can't remove themselves from themselves and look at themselves. What we have as human beings is the ability to step away from ourselves and look at the structure and ask ourselves, is that belief system empowering me towards the future that I desire? And if it's not, perhaps I need to get a new one. And that's where the courage comes in. The actual change is easy once you identify what the limiting belief is and say, then I reject that. And I'm going to go through a process to do that in a bit. Now, follower. So maybe you get in, and I've literally watched people over the last 20 years, I've watched them go from a victim to a follower, but follower is not the highest level. Because what does a follower do? A follower does this. Where a victim just says, I'm not going to think about anything, I already know my story. My story is, you're to blame. I'm pointing at somebody, whoever it is. And they're to blame for my life. A follower says, I'm responsible for my life, and I'm going to find a culture, I'm going to find a community that I agree with their principles, and I'm going to figure out what they want me to do, and I'm going to do it. And from follower and performer and leader, a leader is at times a follower. A leader is at times a performer. And a leader is, of course, a leader. But a follower doesn't, and if you're stuck at the follower level, you can do the follower lens, but you can't do the performance lens yet, and you can't do the leader lens. So what we want to do is help you move up. So when we move up and you get all four, you can say, well, I reject the victim lens just on principle. But in certain situations, I'm going to follow. In certain situations, I'm going to perform. And when necessary, I can lead.